Picture the emergency department doors swinging open and a patient arriving in full respiratory crisis, gasping, sweating, panicked, and dangerously hypertensive. When that surge of blood pressure and stress hormones slams into an already vulnerable heart, fluid can abruptly flood the lungs. This is SCAPE, sympathetic crashing acute pulmonary edema.
SCAPE is a particular kind of acute pulmonary edema where the story is not always too much fluid, slowly accumulating. It can be a rapid redistribution, driven by a sympathetic surge and sharply increased peripheral vascular resistance that forces fluid into the pulmonary interstitium and alveoli. At the bedside, it's visceral. Severe dyspnea, fast breathing, falling oxygen saturation, inability to lie flat, crackles across the lungs, and a patient who looks terrified because they're drowning in their own physiology. Blood pressure is often markedly elevated, and the patient may be restless and diaphoretic, as if their whole body is braced for impact.
One important nuance is that this abrupt flooding of the lungs can happen even when a patient isn't obviously fluid overloaded. They may be euvolemic or even relatively hypovolemic, yet still develop catastrophic pulmonary edema because the hemodynamics shift so suddenly. That's why in SCAPE, the first minutes often prioritize vasodilation and non-invasive ventilation over waiting for diuresis to take effect. Diuretics can still play a role after stabilization, but they are not the only lever, and sometimes not the fastest lever in the moment of crashing respiratory failure.
In a moment like this, two interventions matter because they work on the physiology immediately: non-invasive positive pressure ventilation, often BiPAP, and nitroglycerin given at doses high enough to rapidly change afterload, not just ease preload. Many heart failure protocols start nitroglycerin infusions at 5 to 40 micrograms per minute, which are mainly venodilatory. But in the hypertensive crashing patient with pulmonary edema, the need is faster and broader vasodilation. Doses above about 250 micrograms per minute are the range associated with more meaningful arterial effects and quicker blood pressure reduction.
Now, here's a hypothetical patient. A 65-year-old woman with a history of heart failure and hypertension arrives with acute dyspnea and chest tightness. She looks anxious and diaphoretic. Her blood pressure is 213/91, pulse 103, respiratory rate 36, and her oxygen saturation is 92%, despite a high-flow oxygen mask. She cannot lie flat, and bilateral basal rales are audible. The ECG shows sinus tachycardia with non-specific STT changes, and imaging at the bedside supports acute pulmonary edema. Her blood tests are unremarkable. She receives 3 consecutive sublingual nitroglycerin tablets, 0.6 milligrams each, but she does not turn the corner. BiPAP is started immediately. Even then, her dyspnea and diaphoresis persist, and her blood pressure climbs to 223/100. At this point, the goal is rapid hemodynamic reversal under close monitoring. Intravenous nitroglycerin is given as push doses, 1 milligram every 2 minutes, followed by a low-dose infusion at 40 micrograms per minute. Over about 15 minutes, she receives 6 milligrams in boluses. The change is dramatic. Her blood pressure falls to 135/86, her pulse to 88, and she improves enough that BiPAP can be discontinued. That kind of turnaround is what makes SCAPE worth naming. The respiratory failure can look like it's demanding intubation, but if the driving force is afterload and vascular resistance, reversing that force can rapidly change the trajectory. She is admitted to a general ward, later managed as congestive heart failure with furosemide and digoxin, and discharged several days later.
So why can this work so quickly? In SCAPE, a sympathetic storm and neurohormonal activation can tighten the systemic vasculature and worsen cardiac loading conditions in minutes. The renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system can add fuel to that fire. increasing peripheral resistance and promoting sodium and water reabsorption, changes that further strain the heart and help sustain pulmonary congestion. Hypoxia and dyspnea then amplify sympathetic drive, creating a vicious loop. The harder the patient fights to breathe, the more their body escalates the very signals that worsen the edema. BiPAP helps by improving oxygenation, reducing the work of breathing, and providing favorable pressure dynamics while you address the blood pressure. High-dose nitroglycerin aims to rapidly dilate both venous and arterial beds, lower mean arterial pressure, and interrupt the hemodynamic forces that are pushing fluid into the lungs.
A practical dosing approach is sublingual nitroglycerin 0.6 milligrams up to 3 times, then intravenous nitroglycerin 1 milligram every 2 minutes as needed, up to a total of 10 milligrams. And because speed should never outrun safety, the key contraindications to nitroglycerin matter here: severe aortic stenosis, recent use of phosphodiesterase type 5 inhibitors like sildenafil, tadalafil or vardenafil, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy, or hypotension at any point.
If you are a clinician, the most important step is recognition. The patient with pulmonary edema who is profoundly hypertensive, diaphoretic, and agitated may not need a slow escalation. They may need immediate non-invasive ventilation and vasodilation aggressive enough to match the physiology. When that reversal happens early, the cascade toward intubation and ICU-level care may be avoidable. What's still needed, of course, is stronger prospective evidence, randomized, multi-center trials that test this approach rigorously.
If you are a patient or caregiver, the message is simpler. This is an emergency. Severe shortness of breath, especially when accompanied by sweating, agitation, or a sense of drowning, needs urgent evaluation and monitored treatment. SCAPE reminds us how fast cardiopulmonary physiology can spiral, and how fast it can sometimes be pulled back when the right mechanism is met with the right therapy. That's all for today. See you next time.
Bye-bye.